Thanks for inviting us in at 6 o'clock, and we begin tonight with a school bus driver who's allegedly picking up kids for school in Hendricks County while intoxicated.
The Danville man was then fired after failing a random drug test. Rich Nye tells us the criminal charges he faces now.
52-year-old Micah McLean worked in maintenance for Mill Creek Community Schools, but he was the primary substitute bus driver and drove students frequently. He was called in on April 15th. That also happened to be the day bus drivers took random drug tests. Court records say the McLean clocked in at 6:37 a.m. He ran a high school bus route, then an elementary school bus route, and returned to the bus transportation center about 9:20. 20 minutes later, he blew a .111 on an alcohol breath test. That's almost 3 times the legal limit for commercial drivers. Police reviewed the school bus video. Court records say McLean was holding his phone while driving, speeding, ran a stop sign, and drove through a construction zone. Students can allegedly be heard on the video saying, "This is the wrong way. Where are we going? And I'm scared." McLean was 25 minutes late on his elementary school bus route.
I think this goes beyond being a police officer. I'm a father. Any human being would understand the incredible risk that a person is taking by consuming alcohol and driving a school bus with our most valuable asset in our entire world is our children.
The school says parents were informed the day of the incident. A statement concludes, the district followed all required testing protocols and procedures. Student safety remains the highest priority for Mill Creek Community Schools, and the district will continue to enforce all state and federal regulations related to transportation safety. McLean faces felony charges of neglect, OWI, and criminal recklessness, plus other traffic violations. He made his first court appearance Monday. In Hendricks County, Rich Nye, 13 News.
McLean's driver's license is now suspended as this case is pending. He's also prohibited from drinking alcohol, going to bars, or to liquor stores. His next court date is now set for August.
Tonight at 6, an employee with the Department of Child Services is now charged with possession of child sex abuse material. Police are telling us that Jose Berzeño started messaging an underage teen asking for nude photos, then used those photos to extort the victim for more images. Now, according to the court documents, Berzeño was working for DCS at the time and was responsible for transporting the teen from her foster home to her mom's house for supervised visits. We reached out to DCS today to find out if Berzeño was still employed with that department, and once they get back to us, we'll let you know.
And now tonight to a story you'll see only here on 13. One of the 2 women shot in downtown Indianapolis over the weekend tonight is talking with us and sharing her story.
Ashton Hackman tonight talked exclusively with one of the victims about what happened and her recovery.
And she tells me that she was just enjoying a night out with her friends and heading home, and that this shooting is having all of them rethink whether or not to come downtown late at night.
It was the worst pain I've ever been in my life.
A pain she never imagined she'd feel. That's how Gracie, who asked us not to show her face or use her last name, describes the moment she was shot.
It went through the left side of my foot and went through the tissue and came out.
Her friends rushed to help. Thankfully, the bullet missed bone, but it struck another woman and hit nearby businesses. It happened around 4:30 Sunday morning near Washington and Meridian Streets as Gracie was heading home with her friends.
They shot without a care. They didn't care about life. They didn't care how many people they could have killed or hurt, who's a mom, who's a dad, who's a son, who's a daughter. They didn't care.
The shooting and others before it leaving her and her friends rethinking downtown nightlife. They say teens are to blame.
That's all that it is in Indianapolis. Downtown is teenage boys running around with guns and on the streets.
Metro Police tell us they are continuing to investigate. Anyone with information, though, is still asked to give either them or Crime Stoppers a call. In Indianapolis, Ashton Hackman, 13 News.
A comfortable 73 degrees downtown right now as we take a live look outside and some advice from Angela Buckman. If you didn't get to some of your yard work over the weekend, tonight is the night.
Yeah, make some outdoor plans this evening for sure.
Yes, because the next couple of nights we're going to be dealing with storm chances and an increasing threat, unfortunately, of severe weather. So yes, take full advantage of this really nice Monday evening out there. We're going to give you a live look all across central Indiana. Some clouds, some sun. I would would think some would think it's too cool today. We were in the 70s, and that is a bit cooler than our average high of 82, but nice to have the sunshine and the lower levels of humidity as well. There's a live view in Bloomington over the IU campus in Monroe County. Looks just as nice in the eastern part of our viewing area in Connorsville. Temperatures right now, 60s and low 70s. As Ann mentioned, it is mild out there. 73 in Indianapolis and Lafayette, 72 in Bloomington and Columbus. Overnight, might need a sweatshirt or a jacket very early tomorrow morning. 50s to start, mid 70s for highs, but we go under the threat of severe weather tomorrow. And again on Wednesday, I'll have that in the full forecast.
All right, Angela, thanks. We'll check back. In the meantime, tonight, the White House is now pushing hospitals here in the state of Indiana to be more transparent about pricing.
So the Trump administration is arguing that the lack of transparency is keeping healthcare costs higher for all of us. Samantha Johnson spent today checking in with our hospitals on the nationwide list.
Community North is one of 34 Indiana hospitals on that list, 6 here in Indianapolis. The Trump administration claiming those hospitals need to be more transparent about pricing, which would then in turn help us understand what we are paying. The state does have a website where they've collected data to help you compare costs. It's called Indiana Health Prices. But now this warning from the White House is calling on these 34 Indiana hospitals to do more. Leaders at Community North tell me they did get a letter related to formatting of price data, not the accuracy of the data. They say, quote, "We corrected the issue within 48 hours and subsequently received confirmation that we are in compliance with federal requirements." Here's a look at those 6 Indiana hospitals on the federal list. The president of the Indiana Hospital Association, which represents all hospitals, tells me while hospitals post standard charges and estimates, a patient's actual out-of-pocket cost depends on their specific insurance plan, including deductibles, co-payments, and co-insurance. He went on to say patients deserve to know what they are paying, so they will work to make sure transparency tools are more useful and accurate for all of us. In Indianapolis, Samantha Johnson, 13 News.
Today, northwest of here in Boone County, the commissioners approved a moratorium on new data center developments in unincorporated areas across the county. This is a one-year pause, taking effect as soon as tomorrow. County leaders say this is going to give them time to evaluate potential impacts of these data centers and then decide if the county needs to update planning and zoning regulations accordingly. Now, it is worth noting this is not going to impact the Meta data center project that's already underway in the Leap District.